Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Before we get into this today, I will apologise if you can hear my fan blowing. It is stuffy as fuck in my room here, and I would die without it on, frankly. With that being said though, let's just quickly get into the video so I'm not going to waste too much time. This is another episode of the 2 EP review, where today we are looking at Forgetting the Memories, and their EP Separate by Time, and the other EP is Voidbringer and Wasteland. So, track 1 of Separate by Time is called 1056 and is about 4 minutes 20 seconds. Start quickly as vocals kick in and a mix of guttural tones and middle notes are used over this really dope drum beat and guitar work. There's a little bit later on where we see some cleans come out to play, and they sound really good. They're crisp, they're mixed really well, everything kind of vibes together nicely. The guitars then get a little bit more time to shine. They get like a solo section, which I thought was done really well. After that we go back towards the heavier sounds. The cleans then come in again for a little bit before the song ends, giving us a very, very solid opening track. Track 2 is Never Ace. I don't know how you're supposed to pronounce it. It's NEV squared off bracket ER squared off bracket closed ASE. Never Ace? Never Ease? I don't know. This is about 5.5 minutes long. And again, there's a riff that brings us in before the vocals come into play. Again, they utilise their clean tones, clean singing, the mid-tones and more guttural notes very well, and it is like a good way to keep the song flowing. We get a breakdown-esque section which was really fucking good in my opinion, and towards the end of the track, the final minute in and of itself really killed it in closing off what is a dope track. I know I don't say much about it, but that's kind of because I got lost in the song because I was enjoying it that much. Sorry, I'm just responding to a message. I should probably not do that on camera. Track 3 is Self-Resurrector. This is about 3 minutes 30-ish. Again, starts very quickly. Solid deep vocals on display, smooth cleans that float over the track easily. You get stellar drum work, great guitars, and some sound lyricism, all to make for a very solid song. So far, this EP is 3 for 3 on songs that just vibe and are really good. Track 4 is Into Grey, which is about 4.5 minutes long. Again, another very solid start, more cleans at work here with layered over mid-tones to kind of bolster the clean singing. They give a bit more effect where we have some gutturals in the background. Again, the drum work is really fucking strong. There's a solid blech that is crisp, it is nasty. And the breakdown portion of the song is just a holy fuck moment. It's a superb track yet again, crafted nicely, very well layered, very well mixed, mastered. Everything is just really well done. And finally, we get to the 5th track on this EP. It is short, it is sweet, it is called Watching the Skies, and this is 4 minutes and 20 seconds. So we start with some drum work and the guitars come into play before the vocals kick up again in the heavier tones that they've been using, which are underscored by the guitars with utilising screeches and these chunky noises. Then the mid-tones kick in with a gnarly ugh that's just drawn out and phlegmy and crispy and it's overall just, again, another solid banger of a track. Like, this EP is 5 for 5 on very well done songs that I enjoyed. And honestly, when there's 5 good songs on an EP, it kind of makes it hard to rank them, so I've kind of had to put them in order of, like, just where did I have to listen again, what did I have to really, like, focus on trying to pick stuff out, because I got too into the song. So in order of, like, enjoyment, I guess this would be number 1, Self-Resurrector was my favourite, Into Grey 2, 1056 3, Watching the Skies is 4, and Never Ease, Never Ace, I don't know what it's called, is track 5, is favourite 5. Again, all 5 songs are really fucking good, all 5 songs I would recommend checking out if you're into, like, this, I think it would probably be classed as metalcore sound, but it was really fucking well done. Moving on to EP2 now, we have Voidbringer with Wasteland, and that kicks off with track number 1, Years of Waste, which is just shy of 4 minutes long. We start quickly with some fast fucking drum work and good guitar work. The vocals aren't bad, but I wasn't quite sure if there was, like, some sort of vocal effect on them, because it sounded like there was, like, some, like, reverb on the vocals or something like that. I wasn't quite sure. Like I said, I could be wrong, I could have just been hearing things, but nonetheless, it's a decent track. It was okay. Moving on to track 2, we have Nothing Left to Lose, which is about 4 minutes and 45 seconds, if I remember correctly. We get a slow build with some violin work before the drums kick in, the guitars then kick in, and it kind of builds this epic unison of sounds, and then the vocals add into it. They come in about the 45-second mark, so you get a bit of a, like, instrumental build. The vocals are, again, mostly that one same note they did for the first song throughout. We get a wicked solo here from the guitarist. I won't lie, the instrumental is my favourite part of this track, and that kind of is a theme throughout this EP. The instrumental work is what I tend to gravitate towards the most, and that is all I really had to say about that track. Track 3 is called Return to Dust. Again, this is just shy of 5 minutes, and it's another quick start here, but ultimately it felt like it blended into the last song, and I was about halfway through the song before I realised, oh no, this is actually track 3, not still part of track 2. The drum work and guitar work was really standing out, again, with blast beats, some pacing, and some decent riffage and solo work, but again, the vocals are the same one note throughout all of the tracks, and there's no differentiation between styles, there's no different tones, nothing to break it up, so it kind of does get a little bit monotonous, even for just 4 songs. Which then brings us on to song 4, Ghost in the Fog, 3 minutes 38 seconds. Again, we start almost immediately blending into the prior track, but if I'm honest, the lack of different styles in the vocals and it just being this one middle note, mid-tone note throughout was very much boring. Like, I'm not normally one for being like, one note is shit, because there are artists out there that can, in the metal scene, that do one particular style well, and this was done well, but I do think it could have done with just like some heavier sections of vocals or some cleaner sections of vocals to break up the monotony of just like these long 4 or 5 minute songs where the vocals don't really have much differentiation. But other than that, the style of the song was well done, and I thought the style of vocals is performed well. I just would have liked something to break it up a tad. Like, I know we had solo work, we had intros or like in build-ups and stuff, but that's not quite enough when you've got like a near 5-minute song and the one tone is throughout. Even bands that do one tone well, like Carnifex for example, do tend to use some like flourishes on the tone that they've built throughout the years to make sure it does have that re-listenable factor to it, or that it has something to differentiate, so not each song blends into one. Like, you know, dropping it down into a lower tone, or trying to do some high work and stuff. Yeah, that was my only criticism, is the vocals tended to be a tad boring on this. So going with that, I kind of utilised what my favourite instrumental portions were of each song to influence the order I put them in. So number 1 is Nothing Left to Lose. I felt like that had the best instrumentation work throughout the entire EP. That was my favourite. We then have Years of Waste at number 2, Ghost in the Fog at number 3, because that actually was a decent track. I just was getting bored of the vocals towards the end of it. And Return to Dust was actually my number 4, surprisingly. And with that being said, that is this episode of the 2 EP review done. I will see you guys in the next video, which will be an album review of Dead Awake's album Insurrectionist. So yeah, look forward to that. And with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video. Remember to stay safe out there, my friends. Goodbye.